Hello mates, welcome to the West 6 Mixology podcast. I'm Scotty Clark and our show today is about a centuries-old winter beverage that brings the warmth and joy of ancient holiday traditions straight into your glass. We're diving deep into the rich history and aromatic spices behind one of the most comforting seasonal drinks ever created. Wassail, a 1,000-year-old ritual in a cup. Picture this. It's a freezing January night in medieval Somerset, and a crowd of villagers surrounds a gnarled apple tree, carrying torches and clay mugs filled with steaming, spiced liquid. They're shouting at the tree, singing to it, pouring drinks onto its roots. They're performing an ancient ritual that predates Christianity, one that somehow survived 1,000 years of religious transformation, civil wars, and industrialization. They're wassailing. And the drink they're sharing? Well, that's exactly what we're here to talk about. Because wassail isn't just a cocktail. It's not even really a beverage in the modern sense. It's a communal ceremony masquerading as mulled punch. A social technology designed to bind communities together when winter threatened to tear them apart. And it's one of the oldest continuously consumed festive drinks in Western culture. The name itself comes from Old Norse, Wassail, and Old English, Wassail, meaning be healthy or be whole. When someone raised a cup and shouted, "Wassail!" you'd respond, "Drink hail," creating a linguistic bond through shared utterance. This wasn't passive drinking. This was ritualized communion, literally and figuratively. The vessel mattered as much as the liquid inside it. Now here's where it gets properly ancient. We're talking pre-Christian Anglo-Saxon England. The earliest documented reference appears in a chronicle from the 12th century, where a Saxon princess named Rowena supposedly offered a cup to King Vortigern, saying, "Wassail." Whether that specific incident happened is debatable, but it establishes something important. This tradition is breathtakingly old. By medieval times, two distinct wassailing practices emerged. There's house wassailing, where you'd go door to door singing for wassail, which eventually evolved into Christmas caroling. Then there's orchard wassailing, the truly bizarre one, where communities would gather around apple trees in cider-producing regions, make a tremendous racket, pour wassail on the roots, and sometimes fire shotguns into the branches. The goal? Waking up the tree spirits and scaring away evil ones to ensure a good harvest. I know what you're thinking. These people were either completely mad or working with levels of agricultural anxiety we can't fathom today. Probably both. When your survival depends on those apples fermenting into something drinkable for the next year, you take precautions. Even if those precautions involve screaming at vegetation while drunk. The drink served during these ceremonies became standardized around ale or hard cider bases with warming spices, sweeteners, and roasted apples. The Puritans tried to stamp it out during the English Civil War, calling it popish revelry. Didn't work. The tradition roared back during the Restoration with renewed enthusiasm. Then the Victorian era happened, and writers like Charles Dickens romanticised wassail as part of merry old England nostalgia. Suddenly, it was everywhere. Dickens featured it prominently in A Christmas Carol, where the Fezziwigs serve it at their Christmas party. That literary resurrection helped wassail survive industrialization's erosion of agrarian traditions. By the 20th century, it had mostly retreated to rural apple-growing regions and heritage reenactments. But the 21st century craft beverage movement has dragged it back into relevance. Craft cideries and cocktail bars are rediscovering what medieval peasants knew instinctively. gathering around a communal bowl of hot, spiced alcoholic liquid creates something intangible and valuable. Connection. Warmth. The sense that winter might not end you after all. So let's talk about what actually goes into this ancient warming agent. Traditional wassail uses ale or hard cider as its base, not wine, not spirits. Why? Because the lower alcohol content, typically around 5 to 8%, makes it suitable for extended social drinking. You're not sipping one cocktail. You're spending an evening around this bowl, serving yourself and others repeatedly. The communal aspect is central. The base also matters because beer and cider's complex sugars and proteins survive heating better than wine, which can become metallic, or spirits, which would be far too strong for this application.
Building a new product? Temez Labs takes you from napkin sketch to the App Store. Trusted by Fortune 500s for quality, security, and speed. Book your free strategy session at temez.ai.
If you're using ale, seek out English brown ales with malty caramel character. Newcastle works beautifully. Avoid anything heavily hopped because bitterness intensifies dramatically when heated, turning your wassail into liquid regret. If you're choosing cider, go for farmhouse style or traditional versions, not the mass market sweet stuff. You want something with actual apple character and a bit of tartness to balance all the sugar and spice you're about to add. Then comes the fortification, dry sherry or Madeira. This is a later addition to the recipe, probably Victorian, when the British Empire's expanded trade networks made fortified wines accessible. It serves multiple purposes. The oxidized wine complexity adds depth and nutty character. The higher alcohol content, around 17 to 20%, provides warmth without overwhelming the base. And crucially, fortified wines handle heat exceptionally well because they're already intentionally oxidized. You're not going to ruin them. Use proper dry sherry like Fino or Amontillado, or medium dry Madeira like Verdelho. Don't even think about cooking sherry. It's salted. It's an abomination. Brown sugar or honey provides sweetness. Medieval versions used honey exclusively because refined sugar was staggeringly expensive. But brown sugar's molasses notes echo the malty ale and caramelized apples beautifully. Dark brown sugar has more molasses flavor than light. If you want to go full traditional, use English wildflower honey. Just remember that honey makes the drink less clear and adds stronger floral notes. Your choice depends on whether you're chasing authenticity or clarity. Now the spice cabinet opens, and this is where Wassail transforms from mulled beverage into something transcendent. Fresh ginger, sliced thick, provides warming heat that's aromatic rather than aggressive. Cinnamon sticks, 3 or 4 of them, create the foundational holiday spice note that defines the entire drink. Use stick cinnamon, not ground. Ceylon is sweeter and more complex. Cassia is stronger and more widely available. Either works. Whole nutmeg cracked with a mallet adds warm complexity. Pre-ground nutmeg is a pale shadow of the real thing. Cloves, used sparingly, provide medicinal warmth and that essential pomander character. 6 to 8 cloves flavours 2 quarts adequately. More creates something closer to mouthwash. Allspice berries round everything out, bridging sweet and savoury notes with their complex blend that tastes like cinnamon, clove and nutmeg had a particularly successful evening together. Then there's citrus. One orange studded with cloves provides bright sweetness and aromatic oils while looking spectacular floating in your bowl. One lemon, sliced, adds the acidity necessary to prevent this from becoming cloying. You need that tartness to balance the richness. And finally, the signature element, roasted apples. 4 to 6 small apples roasted until their skins split and their flesh turns soft and fluffy. When you add them to the wassail and break them apart, they create what's historically called lamb's wool, because the fluffy apple pulp floating on the surface genuinely resembles wool. The name might also derive from Irish la mas ubal, meaning the day of the apple fruit, but the visual similarity seems more likely. Either way, those roasted apples aren't optional. They define authentic wassail. Making wassail properly requires patience and attention to temperature. This isn't shake and strain territory. Start by roasting your apples at 375 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes. Core them if you'd like, maybe stuff the cores with brown sugar and butter. Roast until the skins burst and the flesh is completely soft. This caramelizes the natural sugars through the Maillard reaction, adding depth unavailable from raw apples. You can do this the day before. They'll actually develop more flavor overnight.
Oh, hey friend, do you like what you're hearing? Now you can have a ridiculously amazing podcast too. Check out holler.studio to get yourself one today.
While the apples roast, prepare your spices. Crack whole nutmegs, slice ginger into thick rounds. Stud your orange with 12 to 15 cloves in a decorative pattern. Slice your lemon. You can bundle the loose spices in cheesecloth if you want easy removal, but I prefer leaving them visible. They look magnificent floating around. Pour your ale or cider into a large, heavy-bottomed pot, not aluminum, which reacts with acids. Add the sherry or Madeira. Add all your prepared spices, the ginger, lemon slices, and studded orange. Now comes the critical part. Heat over medium-low to about 150 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit, but do not boil. This is essential. Boiling drives off volatile aromatics and alcohol and makes spices bitter and tannic. If you see steam but no bubbles, you're in the right range. Maintain this temperature for 30 to 45 minutes. This gentle, sustained heating extracts essential oils without harshness. Use a thermometer, don't guess. After the infusion period, add your brown sugar or honey. Stir gently until completely dissolved. Adding it earlier risks scorching. Taste and adjust sweetness, remembering that hot liquids taste less sweet than room temperature ones. Now add your roasted apples. Use a wooden spoon to gently break them apart. They should disintegrate easily into fluffy bits. Let everything heat through for 5 to 10 minutes. Final adjustments happen now. All right, thank you for joining us for the West 6 podcast. Drink responsibly, and if you had a good time, press follow and rate our show 5 stars. This is Scotty signing off. May your troubles be lighter than your cocktails.
Grep News. Thomas.